Good evening, everyone. I'm Boris, currently master student studying and information study at Charles Sturt University. And here is interview to Daniel, and here is the instruction. Anyway, hello. Can you hear me? Okay,
Hi there.
Daniel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi.
Yeah. First of all, here is the interviewee guideline, and here is no, not this one is the instruction here. And because you fulfill the the interviewee fulfill the role, that means participant or user in school library or have a key domain discipline or the social overlap academic field in social science. So I invite my teacher Daniel to in this interview, and then uh, I will have follow-up question after your answer. And here is the round up. And can you talk about your basic information about um, that means second question. That means your daily experience in information science, such as you have a role to be the researcher in social science, such as Asian studies and the key domain. Solve your research topic, for example. So can you briefly to tell us about it?
Okay. It's quite a broad question. Let's see. So yes, I'm dealing within the social sciences. I deal mainly with international relations. I am a researcher, and I'm also a volunteer for the e-publishing platform that is Internet International Relations. And my topic, yes, is within the international relations, but it's quite broad, and it deals with soft power and information science. I use a mix of tools to access information. So I do use the services that are allowed, that are, how to say, enabled by my university, my host university, which is City University of Hong Kong.
Oh, that means such
And
as this library. Okay, that's great.
yes,
This
exactly.
this library. Mm.
Exactly.
So can you tell us the experience? What is the barrier and benefits to use City University Library? For example, the uh, this one, this one that means the online searching engine. What is the barrier and the efficiency for you?
Okay. So I do normally look for papers and articles first via Google or sorry, silence here. Google or Google Scholar normally,
Okay.
and then when I cannot access them, I use the library system, the Run Run Show. So normally it's not my favorite tool to access information, but I do find it quite useful as it has access to most databases. So it's quite, how do you say, it's quite
For
powerful.
example,
Yes.
this one, do you use it often? This online platform is have many articles that you can access.
I normally start from
Oh,
Google
Google
or
Scholar. Okay,
Google Scholar.
okay, Google
And
Scholar.
sometimes I get to JSTOR, but I seldom go to the exact, how do you say, to JSTOR. I don't go to JSTOR website. I go through Google Scholar, and I access JSTOR.
Access it. Okay. So you think Google Scholar is helpful for you to efficient and effective to find any source you need in the research to conduct it. But the school library, do you think it helps, for example, your mother school, this one and also this one and also this one? Do you think to compare both of them, do you think they are helpful for your study in bachelor degree, master degree, and your PhD? This.
I think the first few were not as powerful. The Rankham Hang one and the UniBG, if you want to ask me, they were. I think I was not able to have as much access to databases as much as CityU. I think it's quite powerful, and even this one that you have right now, the University of Groningen, I was able to find most articles. At the same time, I have to admit that I haven't used as much the Rankham Hang one and the UniBG, but on average, I do find that the access given through libraries of universities are pretty broad, and I think it's a good tool. At the same time, they sometimes the website is not the best. I think most people would prefer to go through Google and then after go to the university library, because the the design, the how do you call it, user interface, the UX is not the best most of the times.
Okay. So after I understanding for this one, so go back to the first question. It is so yeah, since the uh, secondary school education, that maybe have an imposed query. That means your teacher give you restricted guideline for you to find something in library and then access the information and then do the book report or some project, or give you freedom to find something that is your interest. For example, PhD, you have a freedom to search what is your research topic. That means is self-generated query. So which one do you prefer when you access information based on your experience, imposed query or self-generated query? That means uh, the first one is strong intervention from the teacher or your coordinator. And second one is you can based on what you lack of, and then you can search, and then the school library or other information agency can help you to access the information. So which one do you prefer?
Okay, if it's about preference, I definitely prefer self-generated because it's something that I will enjoy looking for. So again, it's not imposed. At the same time, if I have to say, I think it's good because it's difficult for a lot of students, especially at the undergraduate level, to find good research questions or good queries. So I prefer self-generated, but I think that imposed at the undergraduate or lower level, it's still the best choice for teachers or instructors.
Oh, so and then in our um, 5 minutes discussion, we already covered the key domain. That means all your access experience in library. That means the user and participant experience. And then you also give us that self-generated query is good because it can help the student to have a, that means they can grow to in their brain can find out what is suitable for them, not just strict intervention to force them to access the information.
Yes.
Am I right? So so can you talk about your volunteer experience in international relations as a writer or editor? That means let me find out the page. This one. So when you are conducting the essay or article here, so you also use the Google Scholar first, or you based on your research or in City University or So what is the first step for you to access the information? Public library or school library or other online platform you prefer?
For these specific articles, I think I mostly use Google, not even Google Scholars, because a lot of people who read these articles, they might not have access to papers, which most of the times they are beyond a paywall, so they are in databases. So when I look for information about articles for international relations, I go through Google. So I use a lot of news, like the New York Times, The Economist, and similar platforms. So it's mostly, yeah, news and not databases, not the university library.
So um, based on my understanding, you are trying to give the general view of your professional to the readers to understand the issue that you are uh, doing the research on it. That means this a profile mentioned it. So I understand right what you are trying to do in this one. So let's move to this one. And so that your daily experience in the information science, you the first step is use the Google Scholar from broad to narrow down the information access. That means you prefer using the online platform rather than the you face to face visit the library or something like that. That means you prefer online or online because you can read much information you can. So I just have a question. So how do you prefer the fake news or the the scholar is emotional, such as nowadays United States always have a bias or something fake news to spread about the China policy. So based on your academic field, what do you think about the difficulty to access um, information in school library or online platform? Because nowadays it's a post information era. That means everything can be shared in the social media and everywhere, and not rule to decide it is a reliable source or it is not a fake news, something like that.
Okay, so I mean, I think there are some news providers that are more reliable than others. I personally do not trust any comment on social media, and I tend to double check. If there is an information which sounds too awkward, too good, or too, how do you say, too biased, I always double check and I try to find more sources. And I do tend to rely on what have been recognized as the major news providers. For instance, I think I can trust the South China Morning Post. I want to believe that I can trust the BBC or the New York Times or the CNN, even though they might have some political alienation. And at the same time, I I don't want to listen. For example, if I'm searching a news, a piece of news about China, I don't want to read just the American news. I want to read about also the Global Times or China Daily, even though I know that they're gonna be maybe on the opposite spectrum, or the South China Morning Post. So I tend to check multiple sources and then make up my mind. But I do not mostly follow social media for news. I don't trust them on average.
Okay.